Hello friends, Sam here. Today what I'm going to show you how to invoke SOAP web service in Mulesoft. What does it mean? Building the SOAP client in Mulesoft. So we know that if there is any third party SOAP web service is there, and if you want to invoke that from outside, so you need to have SOAP client. Okay, so from Mulesoft, from your Anypoint Studio project, how to invoke the SOAP web service, third party SOAP web service. Let's say we do have the web service which is developed by SOAP web service, which is developed by Mulesoft, and it is hosted on this particular training server, and this is what is nothing but the path of that web service. And you can see question mark WSDL is written over there. Do you know what is WSDL? So I just take a pause. If you know what is WSDL, I already recorded one video on what is WSDL and what WSDL contain, what is the full form of WSDL, everything. Do you know what is WSDL? Just pause this video and put below the comment, just put what is full form of WSDL. WSDL, WSDL. Is it same as XML? Just pause this video now and put it inside the comment. So I hope you guessed it right. WSDL is nothing but web service description language. Is it different than XML? It is XML file only, but the extension is WSDL only, and that includes the web service details and where web service is hosted. So whenever anybody want to invoke any third party web service, what you require for that, what that person require who is going to develop the SOAP client, he or she require this WSDL URL. Okay, so whoever is developing SOAP web service. So in this case, Mulesoft people develop the SOAP web service. So they are supposed to give you this WSDL URL. And from that, you can get the WSDL which can be used to build the SOAP client. So that is what you need first in place. Okay, I'm assuming that you already have this WSDL URL. I will give this WSDL URL in the description. It is given by Mulesoft. We should be thankful to them, and we can develop our client and invoke their SOAP web service. So let's jump into next question is which processor you have to use in Anypoint Studio to invoke the web service. Okay, so processor is, there is web service module, and inside that there is consume processor, consume. So that is what will be used to invoke the SOAP web service. This will be client side development. Okay, web service consume, that processor will be used to invoke the web service. Now, whenever we say web service, this particular flights web service, so whatever this is given by Mulesoft, that is flight web service. So web service contains operations which can be invoked by the client. So this particular web service that contains two operations. So as a client, you should be aware about that beforehand. One is list all flights, and another is find flight. We can very well ensure that whenever we check out the WSDL. So how to find out what are the exact name of the operation provided? So you just copy this WSDL URL and you just paste it. So I'm just pasting it in the browser, and I will get this particular. So let me show you that. This is what my WSDL is. And here, if you search operation, so just search operation over here, and you can see that list all flights. Let me copy it as it is so that there will not be any mistake. So list all flights, That will be one operation which does not take any parameter. It will give all the flights flying to all the cities. That's what will be list all flights. What is the other operation? Find flight. It will take city code as the parameter and it will give you all the flights flying to that particular city. Okay, let me write it down. Does not take any parameter. Okay, does not take any parameter. And it will give you all flights flying to all cities, and it take city code as the parameter. SFO, LAX, that are what SFO stands for: San Francisco, LAX, Los Angeles, and so on. So city code as parameter, and it will give you flights flying to that city. Now you will get response in which format? $1 million question. As a client, whenever you hit the SOAP web service, you will get response in which format? Will it be CSV format? Will it be JSON format? Will it be XML format? Pause the video and put your answer in the comment. Let me see whether you guess it right or not. Be honest over here. Pause the video for a while. Okay, so I hope you guessed it right. It is an XML format. So SOAP uses XML extensively. So whatever this list all flights and find flight, this is all in XML, that's what will happen. So let us do the blueprinting for our project. What we are going to do now, we will firstly have the client which will invoke list all flight operation, and then we will make the changes and we will call find flight also. So let us do the blueprinting. I call it as blueprinting, that what all you will require. So let us say for the trigger purpose, we will have HTTP listener. Okay, which will not take any query parameter, nothing from Postman. That will be there. Then second one will be, let's say we will hit the web service. So that will be web service consumer. That we will have. And we will configure what we will require here. We will require that WSDL URL to be configured over here. Okay, whatever WSDL URL we are getting from the web service developer, that WSDL URL we will configure over there. Then finally, maybe whatever XML file is there, let us print it on the screen and on the console with the logger. The payload will be printed and the same payload will be going to Postman. That's what we are going to do. So get set go and build our project. So now I focus on my Anypoint Studio. Let me create the new project and let me give the client name. So let me call it as flight SOAP web service client. Flight SOAP web service client. That's what will be there. And let's finish that. Okay. And what we are going to do is that. So firstly, let us take flow. So I'm dragging flow. Then we will have the trigger HTTP listener. Okay, so let me take a listener over here, HTTP listener, and this is what I will have, HTTP listener. Let us have some standard configuration like localhost, and so let us add it here. So what I'm doing, let me do one thing. Let me have this full screen and let me have this in half screen so that my camera will not overlap on that. I hope my cam is not overlapping on this Anypoint Studio so that you will not miss to see the configuration. So you just have to say add, and we going to have localhost. Then I'm just putting the 9001 port. Let me see whether it is in use already. Okay, that is perfect. So it is available to use. Let us use that. Path, let me give the path as fine, let us leave it slash. So using slash we will call it. Let us save and red mark will go away. Then we will have web service consumer. You can see this web service consumer. Web service consumer, that's what is the module name, and consume is the processor. So let us take this processor. Now let's see the configuration of this. So this consume, we will have connector configuration. So let us do the connector configuration over here. And what we have to do, just give the WSDL URL of your web service. In the WSDL location, just give WSDL URL. So whatever WSDL URL given to you by Mulesoft people, let us take that and let us use it over here. So just paste it. Now you can see automatically that SOAP web service is already running. So this service and port and address, this will be all populated. You can see that, yeah, this is populated, and even this address is also populated. So all service, port, address, everything got populated. Address is nothing but the complete address of the web service. Then port is the one word given to that port, and service, some name given to that service. This is all configured in WSDL. We do not have to worry about that. So from this service, port and address is getting invoked. From WSDL it is getting invoked. That's perfect. Click on OK. And perfect. So now operation. So automatically it will detect that which all operations are there in the WSDL. So if you look at this, find flight and list all flight, these operations are already there. So initially we will have list all flights without parameter. We will call the web service and it will give all flights flying to all destinations in XML format. So let us say list all flight. Nothing else. We don't have to do anything, leave the payload and everything. So the result will be actually stored in payload. That's what is there. Let's save that. So this is how we'll configure your consume processor, and then I will display the output XML file. So let us give the display name as display output XML. Okay, and this will be get into the expression mode and payload will be printed on the console. After that, the payload will be going to the postman and postman will also print the same XML file. Let us see that. So now let me do one thing. Let me save the project and let me do debug. Save. Fine. Let us wait till it get debug, and then from postman we will invoke that. From postman we are going to invoke the client, then client will invoke the web service. Web service will send XML to client. Client will print it on the console, and then it will send it to the postman. In case if you have any confusion in the flow, I suggest that you do second round of this video again. You listen this video again slowly, pause it, listen it, and understand each and every byte clearly. Okay, so it is getting deployed. Perfect. Okay, come on. It takes some time to load all libraries and everything. So let us wait till it get deployed. Okay. Okay, so your client got deployed. So your SOAP web service, Mulesoft SOAP web service is already running. Client is running, and let us have the trigger point, which is nothing but our postman. Okay, so let us start postman. Okay, perfect. Okay, so how to call the client? Localhost 9001. We are not giving any parameter, and we are saying send, and let us see what happened on the console, because we are expecting XML to be printed on the console. So let's see that. Yes, something is happening. Cool. And you can see that XML got printed over here. Don't worry about the formatting on the console, that is okay. If you look at the client, you will see this is the response, and if you select the format as XML, you can see that flying to SFO, that is San Francisco, then flight flying to LAX, Los Angeles, then LX, and then CLE. So these are different cities in US. So you can see that LAX again, then CLE again, then SFO, then SFO, PDX. So these are all city codes, where all these flights are flying. So this is XML file which contains all the flights flying to all the cities. That is what list all flights. Okay. Now, if I want to invoke find flight, so what changes I have to make in this particular project? Let me stop this project, stop the execution of this. Let us clear the console. Let us get into the design mode. So in case if you want to select find flight. Now remember, your find flight take city code as the parameter, and that parameter has to be sent as XML. So your input XML has to be there, which contains that SFO or LAX or PDX as the parameter. So whenever your web service takes any parameter, what smart move you have to take? Now, in this case, what will happen? Postman will set the city code. Postman will send the city code to your client. Client will store that in the variable, and then that will be mapped as input to the web service. So in case if your web service is taking the parameter, what do you do? Firstly, let us have the set variable to store that parameter in the variable. So let's have variable. Let's have it destination. So SFO, PDX, CLE, that will be coming as a parameter, query parameter from Postman. So let us have this variable name, call it as destvar, and let us have the expression as, what will be the expression? Expression will be, let me just have it, message dot, you will select attributes and dot query parameters dot the name of the parameter. So let's call it as dest param maybe. Okay, so let me show you this expression. Let me copy paste in the notepad so that you can clearly see that. So this is how you can see the expression. Okay, message, it will be appearing like this, completely message dot attributes dot query params dot dest param. Dest param will be the parameter name from Postman. Okay, that is what will be there. Then you need to put one transform message which will map the variable value to the input. Firstly, what you do, select find flight. So whenever you go here, list all flight, no, it has to be find flight. So let me do that. Let me save the project by doing it. And now you put transform message before consume, which will map the variable with the parameter to the web service. So let me do transform message. Let me have it here. And in transform message, you can see the mapping provision now. Just have a look on that. You can see it automatically detected what parameters web service want. So it want destination as a string. That's what it has detected. You can see that output metadata automatically configured for transform message, right? And dest variable that we already have. So let me do one thing. Let me take that dest variable and map it to the destination. So DWL code got generated, which will take the variable value, which may be whatever the city code, and store that as the parameter to the web service. And rest of the thing will be as it is. And that's how the parameter will be handled to the web service. Let us see. Let me debug this. Okay. And now we will send dest parameter, SFO maybe, from the postman to client. Client take that parameter using transform message. It will be mapped to the consume. Consume will be sending the parameter in the XML format to the web service. Web service will give you all the flights flying to that particular city, and only that flights will be there in the XML. That's what will happen. Let's see. Let us wait till it get deployed. Okay, it is getting into debug mode and now it will show you deployed. Okay, so we can see that this client application got deployed now. So what we will do, let us get into our postman localhost 9001. This time we need to send dest param as the parameter. So let's get into key. So let us give dest param and let us give it as SFO. Okay, so let us see send. Fine. And once we send that, something got over here and you can see we got the XML format XML content which contains all the flights flying to SFO only. Let's see that. So here, if you look at XML, you will see this flight flying to SFO, then SFO, and then SFO. So 3 flights flying to SFO. Let us test it once more. I go to this and postman and let me send this as, let's say, LAX, Los Angeles. Okay, and you can see all flights flying to Los Angeles will be there. So yes, perfect. Let's see XML and you can see now LAX, LAX, LAX. So that's what our flights flying to LAX. That's how you can build the client project in Mulesoft. Sometime it will be calling the web service without parameter, so you don't require any transform message. But whenever you call the web service by sending the parameter, SOAP web service by sending parameter in XML form, you take transform message before that and then you map the maybe whatever incoming variables are there, you will map it to web service parameters. So hope this is useful, friends. So I will be recording such step-by-step video. That is what my passion is. You subscribe to my channel so that you will get notification about all my future videos. Okay, so I'm committed to give you at least one video every day. Okay, that is what my dream is and I'm trying hard to follow that. So stay tuned and stay connected, friends. Thank you and bye bye for now.